And we're live yet again.
I mean, we were already live before
What do you mean before?
we went. This is the second starting time we've had.
Yeah, but you literally just uh, attacked
Spoke
me
the
off
truth
off
off the
the
jump.
recording.
Off the
Yeah, when I
jump.
clicked record, you just attacked me.
You probably deserved it.
Did I? What did I do to you?
I mean, you voted. Never mind.
Voted for who? What?
Nope.
Uh, I actually am eligible to vote. I just registered for the first time in the state of Ohio.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I've never voted before.
You didn't. You didn't vote before?
Mm-mm. Dude, I don't care. For any listener out there. I don't care about politics.
Obviously.
It's literally I abhor it. I respect the necessity of government and like that people talk about it, but I think that humans as a whole, for most people, for a lot of people, just gets it. I hate it. I don't
So
like
this
it.
is how we're starting. We're getting into voting. Politics.
That's you brought it back up.
I love it. I
You
love
brought it
it.
back up.
You guys want to know our political views?
No, we're not going there.
We should go there.
How are you?
Just fucking wonderful.
So today, it's on another Friday. Another Friday. We're starting a little late today, 4:15.
Oh yeah, shit! It is 4:15.
I know we've been
I've been on my FIFA thing for too long now.
on the move.
We were on the move. Yes.
Another
So
episode of Lettuce and Mac coming
this
at you.
this is episode 4.
Yes.
This is the month. This will be we've done this for a month when this comes out.
My name is KyleMac. With me today we have
What are we restarting? What?
no,
What?
just
What?
introducing us.
You what?
Just introducing us. I'm KyleMac. You are
Yeah.
who?
I'm 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 testy.
Testy Lettuce.
Why are we restarting?
Dude, okay, so
I'm
here,
confused
listen to me
now.
like this. What if somebody only listens to episode 4 and they haven't listened before?
And they should go back and listen because I like the plays.
Well, they should. They should go back and listen.
Yeah,
However,
if you-
that's time
This is
invested.
your first episode.
However, we could help their transition by introducing ourselves.
I mean, if this is your first episode, then
Good for you.
step the fuck up.
Welcome back,
Step
or
the
welcome in
fuck up.
to the what should we call it? The food gang. I don't know, Lettuce and Mac.
What?
I'm shooting ideas, brainstorming.
We are the
No,
I don't know what we are.
I'm Mac. He's Lettuce.
I am Latismo.
Latismo.
That's pretty sick, actually.
Let's
I should go with that.
let's preface this
Latismo.
episode. We're gonna say this episode. It's gonna be a little bit different. The next few ish
A little bit different.
might be a little bit different.
This is gonna hit a little bit different. Huh?
So while we continue to enjoy video games, soccer, and talking about them,
That is the thing we do.
we're gonna switch it up a little bit. We're gonna try and keep it short on those topics. And we're gonna go in a little bit more in depth into the life segment. We're gonna get a little real with
We're
you,
gonna get a little real with you.
just a little bit
in the stew.
in the stew.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is going to be a little different.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be good different.
Yeah, I think it's important.
This. I'm sorry, I'm not even. Okay, I need to stop being on
Get
there.
off your phone.
Yeah, so. Listen, there's a new Davinson Sanchez card. 88 overall that I need to get. I will get him, though, no problems. But, yeah, so. Obviously, our past episodes. If you haven't listened, go back and listen. Please. I beg of you. I don't beg. But I'm poor. And we get a very small amount of cents for every listen. For every listen. So please. But so yeah, if you've listened already, you kind of know the way of the podcast. We
joke around a lot.
That is a thing
Mm-hmm.
that we do.
Mm-hmm. However, we liked the seriousness at the end of the last episode.
Yeah.
The wholesome ass content.
Wholesome ass content.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you haven't listened yet, you can just listen to that one.
At least the end. Mm-hmm.
I thought the whole thing was pretty good.
The whole thing is good, yeah. But the end is the wholesome part.
I would skip the second episode.
Nah.
Just if I was you, I don't know.
No, if you like complete shithousery and nonsense, it's a good episode for you.
Yeah, I felt like I was just out of my body in that episode. It was a very
ethereal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so we obviously, kind of talked in-depth soccer, in-depth games a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this episode, maybe this episode and a couple of episodes after this, who knows? You
We'll
never,
see how. Yeah, we'll
you
see how it
never
plays out.
fucking know what happens.
Yep.
But we're gonna get a little personal,
Mm-hmm.
a little deeper, just for context for you guys.
Provide a little bit of background.
Yes, and
And
just
to
be
keep it authentic and real.
authentic and
Document.
relatable.
Yep.
Not that, and again, I want to preface this entire episode, and I've said this before, but if it hasn't been conveyed, we don't know shit about shit. I think that's fair to say.
We're the smartest humans in the world.
Okay.
What do you mean?
I've been with you for a couple hours now.
Okay.
I can.
We don't
I
need
can-
to recount the past couple of hours.
I can confidently say that we are not in the top. That you at least are not in the top 75% smartest people in the world.
Wait, so you think I'm in
You're in the bottom 25%.
Oh god.
I think that I can confidently say that.
You think I'm in the stupidest 25
Yeah,
percentile
okay.
of the world?
I said lowest 25% of intelligence.
Oh god.
That sounds a little better, I guess.
Damn.
I might be in like the bottom 40,
Oh my
but at
god.
least give me that. But whenever we talk about stuff, and granted, like, I know I get on tangents like this. Like, I'm not very good at staying on my train of thought,
On message.
but it's not like we've gotten messages anyway about our things because we don't have that many listeners. And off of another tangent, off a tangent, if you enjoy this podcast at all, like in the least bit of enjoyment,
If
out
you
of
got
like
one chuckle. Or one like, oh, but okay.
if
okay.
there was a quarter of a second that you thought this might have been interesting, share it just the slightest bit. I don't care if the effort that you guys put in is next to nothing. The next two is what's important. Just telling like your fucking dog that we're a podcast
Just talk about
is
it.
fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
just tell him.
Your
or
dog,
her.
your dog will do all the work for
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Like,
Our main marketing strategy is actually dogs.
I mean, the way to get ahead in the world is just to like say that there's a dog included in whatever, and people just automatically like it.
Well, okay,
We should have a dog. We should have my dog on.
To
podcast.
go a little more in depth, not just all dogs, specifically like Chihuahuas
No.
and like the small dogs, because those are the loudest, so they're gonna spread the
No.
message the most.
My dog isn't very loud.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter. I'm talking
I
about the
put my
loud
dog
ones.
on the pod.
For
yeah.
from a marketing standpoint, the dogs are the ones that we're focusing on, the
Okay.
loud ones.
Yeah.
The big
fair.
ones that aren't as loud. I mean, like German Shepherds, I feel like could be loud.
Yeah.
But it just depends on the type of the breed of the dog. But we want the loud ones.
I mean, my dog's the best, but that can be argued in the comments. I've already told you guys to tell me on my Twitter what we suck at, and by the looks of it, we don't suck at anything because I have not gotten one single DM. Also, that could mean that no one cares to even tweet me. I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's not the case. It's just that we're very good at what we do.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead with that.
Mhm.
As I was saying, I forget where I was even. Okay, I think I got it. Back to my point of we don't know shit about shit. When we talk about things, we don't claim to have any superior knowledge about anything that anyone else does. And I mean, I think that's probably obvious when we start talking about things, just anything in general. This is just our experience with our lives. And so, like, that obviously doesn't mean anything to anyone else, but if you find something that helps you in any way, that's kind of what we're going after. And we're just getting
Or to
our
connect,
story out.
create a community to connect with, or anything like that.
Yeah, I feel like I was talking. That was a long time for me talking.
It was. I was just listening.
I don't like being left alone like that.
What do you mean? You were not alone. I'm right here.
That was scary.
Okay. Well, so yeah. We're going to take a period of time and try and engage and branch out. It's a targeted some targeted episodes.
What does that mean?
Like that's what these episodes, to provide context, backgrounds,
Well, yeah.
to connect with and
Just
engage
everyone.
with. Yeah. To relate to.
Yeah, and I mean, really, as much as we say that we're like doing this, to engage the audience, we're also doing this for ourselves,
Right.
just to like, at least in my sake, I've already talked about this a little bit, but just to even if no one's listening, which
we know that's not true.
Which I thought was going to be the case, unless like our analytics are lying to us, which they could be. They very well could be.
Dude, I don't even
They could
know them.
That would actually
know them better than I do.
That would actually be pretty like smart of a company to just have you start a podcast and then think you're getting listeners, and then actually no one's listening.
How would that be smart from the company standpoint, though? What money are they making off of us?
Doesn't matter. That means that you'll keep doing it, and then eventually, I don't know. It'd be funny.
Okay, it would be funny, but I don't think it would be a good business strategy. Is all I'm saying.
All right. Well, you dropped out of college, so
true.
I wouldn't trust anything you're saying.
Yeah, because I don't know anything.
We don't know shit about shit.
About shit, yeah.
Shit about shit.
Okay, so moving on. We'll get into the. We'll start to get into. I
kind of forgot what we were even.
So I have a couple of things. We're kind of brushing over video games a little bit, brushing over soccer a little bit. There's not a whole lot new.
There's really never anything new with video games.
I mean, Valorant is coming out, the new Riot Games shooter.
Heard that.
It looks just like CS:GO.
I've never played CS:GO either. So.
Yeah, it's that could be interesting. It could be a new esports game to come out, but we'll see what happens with the development of that. So just to connect, we talked about Project A last week or the week before sometime.
Still don't know anything about that either.
It's the same thing. Project A was just the project name. Valorant is the actual name of the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
I have a question. I want to start this week off 15 minutes in with a question.
I'm already 15 minutes in?
Well, I think it's like 12.
Jesus.
Yeah. 12 minutes in with a question.
Time flies when you want to kill yourself.
Theoretical situation for you here. So we have the Earth, right? And there are astronauts in the orbit of the Earth.
Good start.
Okay. Yeah. There are astronauts in the orbit of the Earth on the International Space Station, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Let's say just one day that the Earth. I said
the Earth.
The Earth is.
What if one day the Earth
is poof gone from
that'd be kind of cool.
Existence? It's just
how?
Like poofed,
how?
Teleported, gone to another dimension.
Okay, but how?
I don't know.
I don't think that's like a thing. Physically, that can't happen. I need to know why.
Well, who cares? That's not important.
Let's just say
that's not important. It's poofed.
Let's just say another life form from like not another dimension, but from another galaxy, just vacuumed up our planet. But
it's instantaneous.
Okay, yeah, I got
it. It is instantaneous. It's a poof.
Okay, I'm just trying to hit the picture in my head. That's
right. Do the astronauts live or die? And if they die, how quickly do they die?
They would be alive because they were orbiting Earth.
You're right. No, but
naturally
they would die.
Well, no.
My answer to this question is that they would die.
Okay, well, not right away.
Right, correct. I don't think they would die right away. Well, they would die as long as they have food.
Well, yeah.
Or they would live as long as they have food. However...
Well, okay, obviously they would die because they get... Like, the way that they resupply is by going up from Earth.
Right.
And getting
so let's say...
So obviously they would die.
But at some point, what if the Earth was teleported back? I think this is pretty easy.
What? It was teleported back.
To its original spot. Or to, like, wherever it is.
That's weird. Because depending on how long it was gone, the space station would start orbiting something else.
No, yeah. I've been thinking about this for a few days. This was on my list of things to bring up, and I've been thinking about it for a few days.
This is why you didn't let me in on any of the talking.
Correct, because I wanted to.
Just putting me in a mind pretzel.
Exactly, a mind pretzel. Exactly. So, like the International Space Station and the astronauts are orbiting Earth, but as soon as it's gone, if that gravitational pull is gone, they just get catapulted into space.
Okay, but I don't think it's like that.
Well, yeah.
They just don't get catapulted.
In the grand scheme of things, because like if you think like if the Earth is moving around the sun and they are moving around the Earth, and the Earth is just gone, they won't keep rotating the Earth.
Yes.
They'll just get catapulted into the
Yes.
vacuum of space until they find the next big gravitational pull that sucks them in.
So the answer is it depends on where we are in like Earth's rotation of the sun is compared to the other planets, because if it passes by another planet, it will start gravitating that. But if it's at a point where like it doesn't pass another planet, then it's gone. Or it'll get
But
the sun.
they're still dead either way, though. In like 6 months.
Oh yeah. Okay, probably more or less than 6 months.
Well, right. There is an amount of time that like they die because they run out of food.
Also,
unless they eat each other.
If there's nothing by it when the Earth goes away, wouldn't they just gravitate to the sun and then die?
Probably.
Well, actually,
no, because no, dude, the sun's so far away, they would reach another planet before, like they would reach Mars or something, depending on the spatial.
Well, yeah, but it's spacing things.
Right, but the sun is exponential far away.
This exact question is a direct tangent off of we don't know shit about shit. We probably sound like the dumbest people in the entire world.
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter. That's all we can do is speculate. Though we have some knowledge about some things, but like this kind of stuff, that's why the question is fun.
Because like.
I think they would catapult into space.
Okay, but catapult in a general sense.
So like,
when you say catapult, I'm thinking like they're doing it and then
immediately they just shoot.
They get zooted like 1,000 times.
They wouldn't feel the effect of that catapultation. They wouldn't feel the effect of the catapult. But in like if you look at the universe in a grand scheme. They are actually catapulted because they are released from the gravitational pull of the Earth.
If you think about it in the grand scheme of the universe, it doesn't matter.
Okay, shut up.
This doesn't matter.
I know.
We can't get.
You're gonna break my brain. That was contained. That was a contained question that I was thinking about. I was not thinking about the universe as a whole. If we go in deeper, I will lose my mind.
No, I can't.
Exactly.
This podcast would be going for like 5 hours if we got into the entire universe.
Yeah. But so long story short, the astronauts die. The astronauts die when they lose.
No matter what, they die.
Right.
And it depends on timing of the other planets' orbit around the sun.
Correct.
I assume.
Which Mercury's in retrograde right now.
How long is it in retrograde? Isn't it always in retrograde? I feel like that's
what.
What is retrograde?
So retrograde is like when
someone at work tried to explain this to me.
When you're looking at Mercury, right?
Yeah.
In its orbit of the sun. It looks like it's going backwards in its orbit. However, it's not. It's just my understanding. I could be way wrong, but it looks like it's going backwards. However, it's not. It's just the angle because the Earth is also rotating. It looks like Mercury is also going backwards, and that's what it's in retrograde. That's what it means.
I'm gonna be honest.
It's retrograding.
I was not expecting to think this much in this podcast.
Hey, you got to go big, bro.
I mean,
I got you.
This is a podcast for dumb people.
No, it's not.
If you're smart. Stop listening.
No, please listen because I'm smart.
Sorry, no.
I'm not in the top. I'm not in the bottom 25%.
Okay. If you're smart, download this podcast.
Stop. You can't go through this.
Re-download it. Keep it downloaded. Follow us. Subscribe, and then just stop listening. But
no one stop listening.
Stay subscribed.
Stop. What, Andrew? Why are you telling people to not listen to us? We are not stupid.
If you're dumb, just keep listening.
We went to decent schools. Ish.
You couldn't tell.
Okay, that doesn't
matter.
From
an outside view.
Yeah. Whatever.
Think about the schools that we went to, and then think about people like who go to high schools and then go to Harvard.
So?
And like succeed.
So?
Think about how smart they are.
I mean, I think everybody's smart, Andrew. In something.
Cool. Okay.
They're smart in something.
I don't think you've met everyone.
Can they be dumb at everything? I don't think that's really. I think that there's something out there that everybody could be smart at.
This is not something for people who need to be told that they're smart should be listening to.
Why?
So I don't think we need to act like this.
No, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna lie.
I am gonna tell the truth, my truth.
Yeah, and I think that somebody could be smart at something. Everybody could be smart at something. I think some people are smarter at more things than other people. However, I think there's at least one thing that somebody is interested and passionate enough to be smart at. Smart and
Too tired to
intelligent.
follow this conversation.
Intelligent is different than smart.
I honestly, there's a lot of moving pieces going on in this conversation, and
Not
I
at
am
all.
actually lost.
Not at all.
I am lost.
You're the one that's confusing yourself. Okay, so we were talking about space with the astronauts and stuff. With
There's
the
still more?
No. Well,
Oh.
a little bit. It's a segue.
It's a two-parter?
You just ruined my segue. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Another thing that takes place in a galaxy far, far away, a long time ago. Star Wars. I saw a video this week about analyzing Obi-Wan Kenobi's fighting technique. Did I send you that?
Probably not. If you did,
I'm pretty sure I sent it. I'm pretty sure I sent it to you.
Was it on TikTok?
Yeah, probably.
I didn't watch it.
I hate you.
I have not
You're
watched
literally
one
the
single
worst.
TikTok video you sent.
Are you serious? Dude, there's literally one of Anakin killing younglings.
Which one?
I don't know.
Oh, the Battlefront 2? I played that.
No, there's other ones.
Dude,
TikTok?
The VR one?
TikTok is full of Star Wars stuff.
Was it the VR one?
I don't know.
Because that one was my favorite, where like the dude, it was VR and he was
Oh yeah.
killing people.
No, I think yeah, maybe.
Because he picks it.
Yeah. And did you see? There's one where literally a kid walks up to you in the VR and he says, "Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What are we going to do?" And then you just slice him in half.
I love that.
And Andrew,
That's my
TikTok
favorite.
is full of Star Wars stuff. However, you are too stubborn.
It's not worth all the other crap.
No, you can filter out all the other crap. I promise you. You're just too stubborn.
Listen, I'm already so like.
Don't put that there. Don't put that there. We get feedback in the mic.
The kind of person I am, TikTok is one of those things that's like, and I feel like since we're like a little older, a little bit, not we're like 23, 22, but like this is a thing that's super popular with like teenagers, and so like I'm starting.
I use it.
I know. I'm starting to get to like the phase where I'm like old grumpy man.
Yeah.
Where like,
you should be proud of that though.
I'm not participating in this trend, and I'm flatlined. I'm not ever.
See, okay, but
participating in this.
The old adults that you got mad at when you were like, well, this is so cool. Why can't you just like accept that and see it? That's who you're becoming. You're becoming those adults.
I understand, but I've only done it for one thing, and that's TikTok.
See, but you say it starts with one thing, and then it just leads to another and another and another.
Okay, well, but see, I know
You're going down a dark path, Andrew, and I'm not sure I can save you from it.
Well,
I'm trying.
It's almost like the storyline to a movie that I love.
Yeah, you're literally an idiot. Okay, so this analyzes Obi-Wan's fighting technique, and everybody's like, oh, it's all about the high ground. That's why Obi-Wan won. But he didn't have the high ground against Darth Maul.
No, he did. I mentioned that.
Yeah.
In like the first episode.
Exactly. So playing off of that, he does this fantastic flippy move over Darth Maul and then slices him in half. Yeah. Obi-Wan's strength in fighting and what makes him the best Jedi.
Element of surprise.
The best Jedi. It's not the element. It's he uses his opponent's pride against them.
Yeah.
That's his strength, and that's why he's the best fighter.
I'm still, because we everyone in like the Star Wars who even cares about Star Wars knows that Episode 1, Phantom of the Menace, is the worst movie there is.
Yes.
In the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
There is absolutely no way, like, if you see how good of a fighter Darth Maul was, there's absolutely no way that he should have died.
So he killed Qui-Gon Jinn. He killed, spoilers, by the way, he killed Qui-Gon Jinn.
Okay, I think we're past this.
I know, it was a joke. It was a joke.
It's been 21 years.
Yep.
It's almost as old as we are.
Yep.
That's so sad.
He killed Qui-Gon Jinn, and so I'll get more in depth in this in a minute. He kills Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan.
We spent too much time on this since we're trying to do other things.
That's fine. Obi-Wan is like stuck on the side of this sheer pit thing.
Yeah. And there just happens to be one little thing that he can hold on to.
Darth Maul is just sitting there waiting for him to make a move because he's going to kill him. Whether he should win or not, it doesn't matter. The story goes that he wins. He does the flip and he wins.
Literally, you could just force push someone down.
Probably.
Why doesn't anyone think... People don't remember that they can use force push.
I mean, if you want to get in depth.
He could literally just be like, push, and he goes down and kills. And then the entire span of the Star Wars universe changes.
Correct. However, okay, so Obi-Wan does this. Of course, he watched behind the red lasers. He watched his master die.
Yeah.
A scene that he probably played over in his head again and again and again because he was probably traumatized by
I never
it.
understood the lasers either. Like when they stopped.
Yeah, that's just a whole. That's part of it's the trilogies. It's the prequels. It's fine.
Yeah.
So he kills. Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon. Obi-Wan watches that over and over again. He makes one of the cleanest and coolest moves of his entire career. He kills a Sith Lord. Something which he probably told to his apprentice over and over again. Like, hey, do you remember that time when I killed that Sith Lord and this is how I did it?
Yeah, but then do you remember when Anakin killed Count Dooku, who was better? Me too.
Than Darth Maul?
Yeah.
Okay. Darth Maul is way better than.
In my opinion, yes, but Dooku was a lot better fighter.
Than Darth Maul?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
all
proven.
Right. Okay. Fair. So Obi-Wan on Mustafar when he's fighting Anakin gets Anakin into a place where Obi-Wan has the high ground. Anakin obviously knows that Obi-Wan has done this move, flipped over, from the low ground and won against the high ground.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan gets the high ground and he's like, "Bitch, I won. It's over." Knowing that Anakin's pride would not let him pass up this chance to show up his master in a move that his master did to kill a Sith Lord.
You would think that when Anakin was in the air, he'd be like thinking, "Oh, I'm probably pretty vulnerable here. Let me just put my lightsaber so I can block his
Nope.
His
Obi-Wan used it to win the fight.
Also, if Anakin just stepped off of the platform and onto the land, it would have been an even fight.
Maybe.
Because he could just keep fighting and Anakin would have eventually won.
All right. Well, that's not true.
Yes.
Obi-Wan is better.
All things equal. Anakin.
Similarly, I don't know if have you seen Rebels? The show.
Which one is that?
It's not. So they have Star Wars: The Clone Wars,
which I watched.
Rebels is another one. It's like animated. Rebels. Okay. In that one, so Obi-Wan Kenobi's like fighting stance that he goes. He like puts his lightsaber up over his head and then does that fighting stance. Well, so it's
either that or he puts 2 fingers.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah, you just hit.
I didn't even.
Thank
touch
you.
It.
I heard it.
I didn't touch it.
I heard it. It hit. You hit it. Okay, so Obi-Wan does that in this fight. Yeah. He's fighting Darth Maul, right? He does that, and then he
again
this in Rebels. Yeah.
Oh, is this before the trilogy?
I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just saying that he's fighting Darth Maul. Okay, so Obi-Wan does that, and then he changes it, and he goes like this. And then in the video,
this is great for
the audio
straight
listeners.
Audio podcast.
I'm going to explain it. So in the video, he literally switches to Qui-Gon Jinn's stance. Yeah. And in the video that I watched, you're like, "Oh wait, we've seen this before. What is this stance?" And then it shows Qui-Gon doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan does that stance, and Darth Maul sees that, and just naturally in his mind, he's remembering the same move that he did to Qui-Gon to kill him. So he tries to do that literally same move, but since Obi-Wan was there, watched the move, has played it over and over in his head again, he played on Darth Maul's pride to get to that place as well. Darth Maul tries to do that move, and Obi-Wan just sliced him, and he killed him again. So Obi-Wan...
This is after Obi-Wan killed Darth Maul, because if you watch Clone Wars, you know that he's not dead.
Also, if you watch Solo, the movie.
In that one?
Yeah, he's in it at the end. He makes an appearance.
I must not remember that. I watched Solo, too. I liked it.
No, yeah, that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite Star Wars movie.
It's one of my favorites.
But
Episode 3 is always going to be my favorite, though.
I mean...
I still have yet to watch the last one. The one that just came out.
The Rise of Skywalker. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, so to see it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's good. I liked it.
I don't know why.
A lot of people don't, but I did. However, yeah, so Obi-Wan is... That's his... It's just a fight analysis of Obi-Wan Kenobi's.
That was a long tangent.
It was. That was just the opening bits. Those were the only things that I had that I want to talk about this week, other than our
I enjoyed that, though.
Get real.
I like that it's Star Wars.
Yeah, I figured you would.
Because Star Wars is fun.
It is. It's a good universe.
That was my analysis.
It's a good universe.
That was my analysis of Star Wars.
Did you know? So you know that we can't talk about that right now. We'll talk about Star Wars versus Marvel another time. We'll talk about it.
We can talk about that later. I don't want to get into that now.
No, that's a long discussion. Not that it needs to be a discussion, but I've seen it. It's already a discussion. So we might as well just
We'll save that for another time.
save that for another time. So we talked about at the beginning of the episode. We'll get a little bit real. So I'm gonna take the next little segment, and talk about. We want to give context on who we are, where we're coming from, our story, and if you can relate to it at all, if you can vibe with it at all, good. If you can't, that's okay.
Do a little vibing, bro.
Yeah, and we appreciate you listening. Either way, but this is just to provide some context, to tell our story, and that's pretty much it, to document what's been going on here. So obviously two of the main topics that we've talked about on the podcast are video games and soccer, both being big parts of our lives, or at least of my life. Your life too.
I won't say that as much for me yet.
Right. And being that we're just talking about me right now, so if you don't know, I played soccer my whole life, until I had a little heart thing that restricted my play.
Just a little heart thing.
Yeah. And so I have not played nearly as much since then, and that's okay. I'm a coach. I coach soccer as well, so I'm still involved with the game. This is a game that has gotten me through many a good and many a bad time in my life. And so I'm just very happy that is still a part of my life, whether I can still be playing fully or not. But sure. I played at a local club here in Cincinnati at FOSC. I played there for my whole career-ish. And then I went to college. I went to the Northern Kentucky University, where I went there for 2 years. I played club. It's Northern Kentucky. It's in Kentucky, yeah.
That was a callback. That's like what we would call in the biz a callback joke, because I think last episode you talked about Northern Kentucky, and you said it was in Kentucky, and I said it's not like it has a name, but it says it.
Yeah.
Jokes are, I think, even funnier when I have to explain them. That's just me though. I think that's a general rule of thumb.
Fair.
But yeah, callback.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Went to NKU. I played club there. Met a lot of great people. I was one of 3 white guys on that team. I've told you that. Mm-hmm. Met a lot of really good people. Got a lot of really good exposure to the world from there. And then moved on. I started coaching. I'm now still coaching. Yep. Andrew keeps putting his phone right next to the mixer. Dude, I got feedback in my headphones.
You're fine.
There it is. Okay. Just taking all electronics away from the mixer.
You had your stuff right next to it.
Yeah, but it didn't start making noise until you put it there too.
Whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, to get back to on track, when for a good amount of years, I don't know when it started. I was depressed for a while, and that came to a head when I was in uni at college at NKU, and I decided, fuck this, basically, I don't need this, and left school. Yeah, intentionally, possibly would be going back at some point. That's still up in the air. You know, whoever really has their life figured out.
Yeah.
It's farther away than it's ever been, because I've put a lot of time, effort, sweat, blood, tears into a lot of other things, which are.
Dude, you cried. Nerd. Are you kidding me?
Dude. Okay, I don't want to say I cry daily. I get a good cry every year, every 6 months.
Beta male.
Bro, it's fine.
Dude, in our description I put that we were average alpha males. Okay. Now I have to change that.
No, but if we were alpha males, those guys probably don't cry ever. Average alpha males get once every 6 months.
Average alpha males get like a tear, but that's like when they see something beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like I don't know. I don't really know what's beautiful.
I mean, and I still go through everybody. So even as men, I feel like, dude, honestly, I feel like men go through cycles as well. Not like women, but like a couple of days a month where you're a little bit more on edge, a little bit more emotional than you normally are.
On our period.
Right, exactly.
Even though girls do that once a week. Or no,
once a month.
Once
Andrew.
1 week every month.
Right, that's what I said. And I said, guys, it doesn't feel like it's a whole week.
I think
I go
girls go through it worse.
Absolutely. What do you mean? I'm not debating.
Oh, okay.
I'm not even trying to bridge that gap.
No, I thought you were trying to compare the two.
No, I'm just saying that it's, at least for me in my personal experience and from what I've talked with other guys, it feels like guys go through cycles as well. Yeah. Not nearly to the extent that girls do, but there are still some.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Right. There are still some hormonal shifts.
Yeah.
I feel like that happen. So yes, I do. I still go through emotional times. But anyway, to get back on topic. So yeah, I decided, I kind of, and that wasn't even like the wake up from a depression or anything like that. That was like the first big step though to taking charge of my own life.
You leaving school?
Me leaving school.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big commuter school, so there weren't many people on campus. I wasn't having fun. I wasn't enjoying my time at all. I was studying marketing at the time, which
Me too. Funny how that works out.
Marketing was not for me. At least in school, it was not. That doesn't mean that I can't apply practical knowledge and experience to marketing itself.
Well, no, just a quick tangent off that. The stuff that you're doing now is literally more real world, and like learning more. Yes, that's what people should be doing.
Exactly. It's not that I'm not interested in marketing. It's that the way that it was being taught to me in university was terrible.
Can you call it college? We do not have people.
College.
All of our users.
Yeah, dude, I know, States. But I start to say uni as a joke, and then I just have to keep going because I don't want to seem like too. It's just satiric. Like well, I am a douche, so what are you gonna do?
Back when I was at uni, that was awful. I don't even know what accent that was.
It's fine. It doesn't. We're gonna slide over that one.
Okay. But, sorry. No. Yeah, but I don't even know if I finished my point.
I don't either.
The stuff that you're doing now is way more applicable and like way more useful.
Yep.
And it like obviously I'm in college now.
Right. Studying marketing.
Studying marketing. taking marketing classes. I don't know most of the stuff that you do anyway.
Right.
So like
I have learned more self-taught than in the. How long have I been out of school? 2 years?
I don't know. Ever since I've lived with you.
In the 2 years that we've been out, or that I've been out, I have learned more than I learned in school, and it's about the same amount of time. But I actually started with a criminal justice degree. Loved that. Aced all my class. I had straight, except for one class. One class I got a C because it was a fairy tale and folklore class. Which
that sounds like a great criminal justice class.
Didn't give a shit about at all. Yeah, studying criminal justice. That's a class that I was taking. So I didn't. All my criminal justice classes. I not that it was hard. It was interesting though.
Interesting, yeah.
It was interesting. I was going to become a police officer. That was my thought.
I could not take you seriously as a police officer.
Okay, well, whether it was a good idea or not.
I'm just saying.
That was what I thought I was going to be doing.
This is a podcast where we both put our 2 cents into things.
Right.
So I'm just saying.
That's fine. Fair. I'm not arguing with you because I don't know that I could either. That's just what I wanted to do.
Legal.
Dude, my aunt is a judge. My uncle is a detective. Like, it's what I was interested in. I'm still interested. I love law. I love learning law. I love reading about law.
And I love breaking the law.
Yeah. It's a good thing that I'm not a police officer though, because.
Perfect.
Yeah. Exactly.
Perfect.
But so I stopped when I started coaching, and I started falling in love with coaching, and reinvigorating my love of the game of soccer. I switched to marketing because I thought that would be more generic and more applicable to more things once I graduated.
LMAO.
Which is eventually what led to me leaving school. My eureka moment, not urethra, eureka. It was the leaving school.
I've had a few urethra moments in college. Let me just say they're not as helpful as eureka moments. I'm just gonna say that.
But yeah, so that was the first step of an awakening. To which I'm still on that journey of awakening. I'm just very much farther along than I was at that point. It was at that point where I kind of said, I'm just gonna start chasing things that I'm passionate about, things that I love, and that was the soccer moment. And it was actually when I lived with you that the video game moment kind of took shape.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It was more so because of Brandon than because of you. However, you're a big part of that.
Brandon sucks dick.
Oh my god, why do you have to trash on him? You trash on him literally every episode.
Okay, well, now that we settled our beef, now I'm back.
You had a beef?
We know this.
Well, okay, I didn't know it was a beef.
It was like a fake beef.
A little. Well, okay, yeah. Brandon's engaged.
Yeah.
And he didn't tell Andrew right away about the engagement.
I don't even. Okay.
And Andrew was mad about it.
No, I don't even think that was it. I get in weird moods.
Mm-hmm.
And like
when you go through your bit.
Yeah. We'll talk about, not really talk about that specifically, but like what leads to that.
Your schizophrenia.
Like, honestly, when I like a year ago, I thought I like actually had like bipolar or like something like that.
It's crossed my mind just knowing you. Yeah.
We can go into it later. But
yeah.
It's weird.
People are weird. Humans are weird. Yeah. So anyway, we'll talk about that at some point, but
hopefully this episode.
Hopefully we'll see how long I take with my bit.
Like, you take as long as you want.
Right. And if I take a little bit long, then we'll talk about it next week.
And if this is a little longer episode, who cares? A little long.
We said at the beginning of this we were gonna try and get like maybe a short episode in.
Did we?
Yeah, we talked about that.
I don't remember.
Oh god. Okay, well that's fine.
Just keep on.
So yeah, I had that first leaving college was the first at least the soccer part of the awakening. The video game one came when I was playing video games at the house that we stayed at together. And Brandon was like, dude, you already do this. Like, you already play video games. Why don't you just document it as well? Like, you might as well if you're going to be doing it. And that was when I literally lived in a closet.
Literally?
Literally, it was actually a closet.
It was meant to be a closet.
Yes, it was. And that's where I lived. It was probably, if you can envision in your mind, I want to say 10 to 12 feet long, and maybe 15 to 20 feet wide. That would be big. Like that's generous to that room.
That's very generous.
It's very generous. It was literally a closet.
I could broad jump the width of your room.
Yeah, it was so small. It had enough room for my bed and a TV. And I had a mini fridge in, and barely my dresser.
Yeah.
That was it. And there was no walking room in it.
You didn't need more?
Correct. Well, okay.
Like, it would have been nice to have
more.
It
would have been. That's all. That is all I needed. I literally lived in a closet for 2 years.
Purposes.
Yeah. Cheap house though. It was nice. So living there, I was sitting on. When I gamed, I was sitting. I saw that.
Just real quick.
Yeah. I was sitting on like a lounge. What was I sitting on? It was a desk chair that I would roll in from Brandon's room. Because he had a desk in his room. Andrew and Brandon's rooms were big. Zach's room was big. I rolled in a desk chair from his room and sat and looked at my TV.
Yeah.
My TV was
before the people who are listening to this judge the fact that he has the smallest room. He was the last to confirm that he was going to live with us.
Mm-hmm. And so I got the last pick of room.
And he never even looked at the house.
I never previewed the house once. I did not care.
The first time he saw the house was when he moved in.
I didn't even care that I liked that room. Fault. No, I liked that room. I'm not mad about it at all. I'm just for documentation purposes.
I understand, but
yeah, you have to clarify. No, I get it. Yeah.
Probably makes me sound like an asshole, even though I really don't care.
No.
Just clarifying.
Right. Yeah, you guys aren't assholes. I wasn't mad about it.
You seem a little bitter.
No.
You seem triggered.
What? Okay, yeah, you fuckhead. I'm not.
I can see tears rolling down your face.
Dude, just why you gotta call me out?
You're becoming a beta right now.
This is why we have it as audio, so you can't see me cry every 5 minutes.
That's true, actually.
Okay. But no. So yeah, it literally started basically in a closet. I would roll the desk chair in, the TV, which is mounted on my wall right now. I'm watching golf on it. It's 36 inches? Yeah, it's the same TV.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And the stand that the TV was on, that was actually I held my clothes on that. It was literally a wooden built stand with 2x4s that my dad threw together in his house's basement, the one that we're in right now, where this podcast is being recorded. just threw it together, and it wasn't straight. It didn't stand up straight. It was literally a shelf that just I put my extra clothes on because I didn't have enough room in my closet or my dresser.
I'm surprised that never like broke.
I know it was a good it was actually held together, terribly
like,
made, but held together.
Mm-hmm.
So the TV sat on the top of that, and I was far away. I was like, in gaming terms, I was far away from that TV, and just started playing, and then I would just click Twitch and click stream, and then started streaming. The quality wasn't good.
Humble beginnings.
I had my controller. And so that was the start of KyleMac's brand ish, and then it kind of just, that's where I held for a while because I didn't have a computer. I tried to use Streamlabs on my laptop, but the laptop doesn't even have a graphics card, so it couldn't run Streamlabs at all, barely.
Oh, is that?
This is also the same laptop that.
Yeah. So we don't have to get into it.
Well, you can go ahead.
No, it's not even important. Just go ahead.
Okay.
There's something about Streamlabs, that's all.
Oh, okay. We can talk about Streamlabs. Yeah. That's fine. So, eventually moved back to this house. I didn't have a face cam or anything there. When I moved back into my parents' house because it was closer to where I worked. And
we all were moving out anyway.
We were moving out, yeah. I just decided to move back in with my parents because it's literally. We talked about. I just did all my tax stuff. It's 4 miles from this house. Also, a lot closer.
Granted, Zach and Brandon both were like graduating
school.
Either had graduated or like were graduating.
Mm-hmm. So we could have continued living there.
I would have liked to, but
yeah, it made more sense for me to move out.
Well, I would have liked to stay because I just hate living with my parents.
Oh yeah, fair. And who likes living with their parents though?
If we can talk about this again.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I don't like it a lot more than a lot of people don't like living. But like,
fair.
There's specific reasons.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I hate living here with my parents. I'll be moving out soon. But I don't like it. While I don't let that on very much, I really do not like it. We don't get along that often. Although we don't talk that often either. So like it's fine.
That's what makes it a little bearable is that I'm just not home a lot.
Really? You working a lot?
Like literally when I have class and work, I don't get home. Yeah. I go to work at like 8,
mm-hmm.
and then I get home when I have class at night, I get home at like 9.
Right. And don't get me wrong, like I love my parents. I'm eternally grateful for the opportunity that they've given me in this life and to live here now because I do still pay rent, but they're very grateful to me. And it's a great place to live. I love this house.
Right, Zillow. Let's calm down.
I'm just trying to build a life of my own, and so it's time for the bird to leave the nest, and it'll happen soon. It's just there's still things in the works. Anyway, so I moved back into this house. Still had my Xbox. I got a face cam from my brother. It was just a crappy face cam, and continued gaming on the Xbox. It wasn't until the Xbox broke. Actually, the Ethernet port broke. That I decided to fork out some change, and I bought a PC. Bought a monitor. The whole shebang. So now it's somewhat of a setup. Now I have a mic and stuff like that. But the reason that KyleMac came to life, the original from that house, the idea that games bring people together. They bring people joy and happiness even when they're rage quitting. The reason that they are rage quitting is because they care about the game that they're playing, and they have fun playing it. And so that was, Brandon brought that up, and Andrew, you're a big part of that because and you'll remember me maybe telling you this story when we moved in together. The person that up until that point that I had gamed with was my brother.
Yes.
And back when we lived at the old house together with that game that I told you about, the early game, whatever, I don't remember what that game was called, just the lion and the tiger racing and stuff.
Yeah, we would just race.
Yeah. Between that and then, the NCAA 2004 or the EA Sports 2004 gaming pack, between different racing games, different gaming things, I've always gamed my entire life.
And just a short tangent on that.
Yep.
When you said like games are like they bring you joy and like bring people together,
Mm-hmm.
people who because I mean obviously not everyone likes to game or people think that it's dumb,
And that's okay.
and yeah, like that's fine. But like for people who enjoy it, which I feel like as like esports and like it's kind of becoming more normalized where like people like because I feel like before if you said like oh like I love like playing video games it was like
You were definitely, there was a stereotype, there was a
yeah,
stigma with that.
but like it's kind of more normalized now
A little bit.
a little
I
bit.
still heavily in my environment still do not like. People don't even.
Yeah, it's still not
It's still not
normal.
where it could be.
Yeah, but
Not
like
it's not still not fully accepted as something that people can do,
but like
whether it be for
gaming
fun or for
for
not for fun.
gaming for like people like us who just like enjoy playing is just like any other hobby for anyone else.
Right.
Like if you enjoy reading, read. That's
Exactly.
fine.
Yeah.
It's
Do
just it's this is just another avenue
Right.
for people to enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to get that out there because I know
Right.
that there's still that and like I get where people come from, but it's also just like it's not bothering you, don't worry about it.
Exactly. I'm not bothering. I'm not doing anything to nobody.
Yeah.
And so that's where, as in terms of my life, the reason that these two things are things that we talk about on the podcast, things that I spend my time doing, because when you really think about it as humans, what is one asset that everybody has that is the same? That if you are a human that lives this life, is the great equalizer, the great currency that everybody has together. It is time. And obviously, as civilizations develop and stuff like that, you bring your own currency into that, whether that be the American dollar or the pound or the yen or anything like that. Are we gonna
get historical with this shit?
No, but all I'm saying is the one thing that we all have together is time. And so it was at one of, in my history, probably more so, this mindset started when I left college, was that I'm going to choose to spend my time doing things that I love. And I'm going to try and make that, that passion, my hobbies, a career, because this is something that I love, right? And I'm not terrible at video games. I'm not terrible at soccer.
Okay.
So, might as well go all in on it.
There's room to argue about that, but not on the podcast.
What do you mean, bro? Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
I hate you. So yeah, these are things that have stayed with me my entire life through, and most importantly, through very dark times. And we don't need to go too in depth on that right now. But on the upside of those dark times, and in those dark times, these two things, video games and soccer, and also friends, family, there have been other things that have helped, but these two things are things that are...
Those are constants.
Yes, constants through the whole thing. And so that's why this podcast exists, to talk about them, to have fun, and to continue the brand of KyleMac that I started when I lived with Andrew. And so, this is just a little bit of my story in the background in that, and the important things that have played a part in that story.
Very well told.
Thank you.
We should write a book.
It wasn't that great. There's obviously a lot more through it, but those are the big pieces, big important pieces.
Again, like we already said at the beginning, like this is the point. But as we hopefully do this, longer and longer and more, you guys will probably get to hear more in-depth stuff, as stuff comes up. And I mean, that's just kind of the way it works, is that
right.
Things just come up naturally. So.
Mm-hmm. And to anybody who has played a part, and to kind of continue to round out my thing, I don't know if we're 53 minutes in already. So.
I want to get into at least a little bit.
That's fine, and we can continue.
Because now that I already had stuff like on my mind.
Okay.
And I do kind of want to just say some stuff.
Cool.
About my stuff.
To anybody, not that I have to speak directly to them, but this goes out to you as well. To anybody that's played a part in that story, positive, negative, if I think about somebody that's negative, I think about maybe a teacher in college that I despised. Which I don't have any hard feelings towards that teacher or dislike that teacher as a person or anything like that. I don't want to say that I dislike anybody. They played a factor into me being where I am today. And
bad experiences are lessons learned.
Exactly. And me being where I am today
That's
is somebody.
so corny what I just said,
but it's so true.
It's true. I hate that everything that's corny is like true.
Well, that's the reason that it's corny and cliche.
Like as you get older, you
learn
realize
that.
all the corny stuff that you heard is true, and I hate it.
Yeah, but that's how life goes.
Well, no, like I hate
that's
that
the
it's
way
right.
the news goes. Rick and Morty quote.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
However, those people have put in where I am today is a person that continues daily to choose happiness, right? And that goal is to wake up every day and not hate my life, which I've experienced before, literally when you don't want to get out of bed because you don't want to do anything because what you have to do is shitty.
Yep.
So to continue on that trend, thank you to all those people that contributed to me realizing that waking up every day loving life is the goal. And that's my goal. It will continue to be my goal. And I mean, I'm there now. I enjoy waking up now. So that's a good thing. We're going to keep grinding and keep riding that wave as long as we can forever. And
hopefully
that's it. So Andrew, I will pass this over to you and I will make joking, satirical comments the entire way that you are.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because that was my rule.
Right. Exactly. And just as a frame of reference, we're 56 minutes in.
That's fine.
Audience, we had talked about before this episode was that we were going to kind of go a little bit more wholesome ass content, in depth, and talk about our stories to give context and background. So he's got the reign to talk about as long as he wants. If we split this, we could just split this up and cut it into 2 episodes.
We could.
We wouldn't have to, or even 3 if we wanted to segment it. We'll talk about that after the recording.
Yeah,
however, this time is for Andrew to talk about whatever he feels like he wants to talk about in regards to his story.
I'm kind of mad now. I'm like kind of nervous to because I know I have stuff that I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like this is stupid.
I get it.
I don't know why.
Okay, I started to sweat a little bit. I mean, granted, it is a little hot. It gets hot in here every time my PC runs, it gets hot because we have the door closed. But I did start to sweat a little bit, and I was like, dude, I really want to shower right now.
It's more.
Being authentic is hard.
It is hard, and
because
me is and everyone has their own shit.
Right.
I feel like where I'm at now, like me especially, like I am not good at showing my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, and you can attest. Anyone who knows me can attest.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever.
And
that's why I'm trying to get better at.
Do you want me
to see why half I'm doing this?
Good. I mean, Do you want me to look at you, or do you want me to be back here?
I don't care, honestly.
Okay, well you do you. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. Yeah, so I'm just chilling. And if I look at my phone, I promise I'm still listening.
I was doing the same thing. So.
Were you? I didn't even notice.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Okay, cool. So we're set.
Yeah. So.
Hey, you gotta lay the environment for comfortability, guys. Just feel comfortable to speak your truth and talk about what you want to talk about because that's life, and you should just do what you want to anyway. Unless what you want.
It doesn't have to be on a podcast like we did because.
Correct.
For no reason. I don't even know why we started this.
I don't know if that's going to be a rebrand of the podcast. However.
That's a later thing.
It is.
Okay, so hi guys. My name's Andrew Schmidt, and I'm a 5th-year senior at the the University of Cincinnati. Wow, I messed that up.
Testy. He goes to the United States University.
Yes, I do. I go to a university in the United States.
The United States University.
Yeah. So, I mean, my whole life was like baseball. So that was a very odd entrance.
My whole life was like baseball.
That was a very odd entrance.
Which I want to preface saying that was before. I mean, I knew you, but I didn't know you.
Yeah,
when you were a baseball guy.
So, I really only met Kyle when we were both in high school.
Mm-hmm. We didn't even get to know each other very well then.
No. So growing up, since I was 4, I played baseball. Played baseball all my life up and even into college a little bit. It wasn't real college baseball, but I just played club at UC. But I loved baseball, kind of how you described soccer.
Mm-hmm. America's pastime.
that was like what it was for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very passionate.
like my whole life leading up to like even now
Mm-hmm.
and leading up to like going to college, like I remember I have a piece of paper, like we wrote something like something that you wanted or like a goal for college.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it in 7th grade, and like I said that I wanted to get a scholarship to play baseball in college.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was what it was up all the way to college or
That was the
to high
mindset.
school, like that, and that was what I wanted, and that was like basically what I thought was that like that was obviously what I wanted to do, and then I'll just figure it out after that because like I just want that experience, and then I'll figure it out along the way.
Right.
Obviously, if you know me now, that did not work out, and that's not true. But
the best laid plans of
yes,
mice and men.
Yeah. So, I obviously played baseball in high school. After my sophomore year, I tore a ligament. I was a pitcher, whatever. That really doesn't matter. But I tore a ligament in my elbow, and I had to get Tommy John surgery, which is like a popular. Now I wouldn't say popular, but it's like a common.
It is.
Now.
Yeah.
It's like a common surgery, and you hear it like a lot with like professional baseball players having to get it and stuff like that. And it was. I mean, you hear about it sometimes with younger people. I was 16 when I had to get it. I got it the summer between my sophomore and junior year, which was honestly very shitty timing because that is one of the most that summer and then the summer after that's probably the most important like year span of like college recruiting, probably for any sport really.
Yeah.
College recruiting and just like development.
So in terms of your goal, that sucked, yeah.
But even when it happened, like I feel like
high school's hard anyway. Like anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and like the things that I know now, it's like shocking how much like I just like didn't pay attention to certain stuff in high school, and like when I realized now,
you're
it's
a
like,
kid.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of that, like on the outside, like I was like fine, I was just like going through rehab, and like, I mean, people who might listen to this can attest, like, I mean, like I worked and like I did everything that I was supposed to do in rehab to like get my shit
recover, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like
from surgery,
like even like because I know Zach remembers me and him, like this was dead ass winter. We would go to like LaSalle's football field, snow on the ground, dark outside. It was kind of dangerous when it was dark outside, but
well, I mean, yeah, but that's
we'd like because I had to throw to like recover. I had to throw,
right?
And I mean, Zach, like I appreciate you like doing that back then.
Good friend.
It was a while ago.
Good friend.
I know, but like that, I did all of that, and I did everything like I was supposed to do.
Right.
I believe I did everything I was supposed to do, but like when I came back, I might have rushed it a little bit. Like I probably could have spent a little more time rehabbing, but I was told everything was good. So when I came back and started playing, everything wasn't the same. I felt like I lost, speed, I lost my confidence too. I mean, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Fair.
And then, all of that kind of culminated in I kind of lost my love to play because it just wasn't fun anymore. Which, I mean, that's kind of the shittiest realization when you kind of spend your whole life with one thing. And that was like what I was going to do.
Right.
That was what all of my plans were like placed in, and all the work I did led up to doing that.
Right.
It's just like kind of gone. So that was obviously shitty.
Right. Absolutely.
Whatever. But when it happened, I it obviously affected me like a lot,
Right.
like
And
emotionally and like deep down.
right. And as you said, when it happened, you were a kid. So
Yeah.
when it happened, that like in and of itself, that's to take it as a regular person, as an adult, is hard. But then to have that burden as a kid is even harder.
Yeah, and like I've always thought this, and like, like right now, like I feel like some of the stuff that like that's going on right now in my life, it's kind of stems from that,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of like the deep emotional stuff that like I'm dealing with now, it probably stems from that, and it's just kind of bled into like other stuff, other parts of my life, obviously. But when it happened, I was just, I didn't, and my parents were there for me, but like I would have never shown any like emotion about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. I was just like, oh, whatever. It's just another thing,
Right.
another whatever. But like,
In a way, like, and I know this whatever, this might be cliche, whether it's correct or not, like that speaks to the truth of like actual toxic masculinity,
I mean,
like
yeah.
playing a part. Like there, it's actually it's a thing.
Oh yeah, and
100%.
yeah, that was like I was that was it. Like I just like it was just another thing, and like I didn't really have there wasn't really an environment for me to even talk about it because I didn't think it affected me that much, even though it really did.
Right.
But and especially like going to St. X, like my friends were from baseball. Like I mean the people I talked to, like I talked to people from grade school too, but the people who went to my high school, like I was friends with other baseball players, and then like I didn't play my senior year, so they like I kind of lost that part of myself in high school. Just like, and that was when we were leaving anyway. It was like senior year. I kind of weren't as good of friends with them, and it kind of like felt like that. And this will sound dramatic, and it probably is dramatic. But like part of me kind of like died, like went away.
Right. No, that's not
And
dramatic.
like,
I get it. Yeah.
and it was hard
Mm-hmm.
then. And then this is probably the part I was more nervous to talk about, but like, and I just for the sake of whatever, I'm not going to mention names, but like right then, like the second semester of my senior year is when I met
Of
a girl.
of college.
No,
Of high school.
high school.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I met a girl
Mm-hmm.
who, I mean, we know, and most people probably know who she is. I'm not going to talk about that too much because
You can talk about it as much as you want.
it's gonna bum me out, but and I'm just gonna talk about it like
In terms of this of the timeline
no,
of your story.
that whole thing. So I was with this girl for almost 4 years. Was it?
4-year relationship ish.
Yeah, it was like an on and off 4 year relationship, and like I will frankly say she's like the best person I've ever met.
I'm insulted.
No offense.
You're good.
I'm not gonna
You're
take
good.
that back. But
Go on.
and like even this isn't even for me to say like, oh, if she hears this, I'm saying all this nice stuff. Like she's generally like the nicest person. Like
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
As perfect to me as you can get. That
Mm-hmm.
was that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was dealing with my own shit in college,
Mm-hmm.
and I
And
fucked
in
it
high
up.
school?
I mean, yeah, in high school. High
Okay.
school was when we like first started. So
No,
it
you're
was
right.
like,
Just to clarify, yeah, because you met her. You said sophomore.
no,
In between.
second semester of senior year.
Oh, that's what. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like.
Yeah.
And she went off to college, like not in Cincinnati, so it was like long distance relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, whatever. That one of the biggest regrets of my life, really, and like I'm not even saying that lightly, and I'm just saying this so I can kind of be off that subject right now.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't like that still is
The whole relationship.
Yeah, I mean that is still kind of that's one of the things that fucks me up now.
that you
like,
deal with
currently,
today.
this
Right,
day.
right.
And we haven't been together for like over a year now,
Okay.
and it still fucks me up.
Mhm.
Which is very annoying.
Yeah, I mean,
and I get why in my head, but
right. I
it
mean,
fucking
so
blows.
so to provide some context as well, like I mean, like I don't think that that's an easy thing. Like even when you realize that you have a significant other that's special to you, whether you realize it at the time or after the fact, getting over any relationship is hard. You know, getting
Yes.
over anything like that. Like there's a theory. I think that somebody said it takes like 3 times the amount of time that you dated to get over somebody, which I think is a little bit bullshit. Like
Yeah,
if you
no,
date for 4 years, it's going to take 12 years to get over them. Maybe I don't know.
Every single time someone speaks about that, it's all bullshit because it's different for everyone.
Exactly.
And,
You're right.
And I mean, like,
and I go on.
So I don't think my situation is any different than anyone else's in the world.
Right.
But like,
it's hard.
I'm just saying this openly so I can have it, because I mean, I've never talked at length about this ever because
right.
I didn't want to.
Right. I've tried. I know. I've tried.
I just couldn't, and I feel uncomfortable doing it now, but
it's all good.
And I'm not going into as much detail as I could, but
being authentic.
In terms of this part, the lesson learned, I took what I had for granted, and I fucked up because, I mean, granted, I was going through my own shit, but that's not an excuse for treating someone shitty. And maybe I'm being too hard on myself, but that's just how I felt, and I still put the blame on me, and like I'm dealing with that, like, and then
right.
I get that happened, and I'm like, I hope she's happy because
right.
Whatever.
I get
hope
it.
she's happy, and it's kind of that's done. Whatever.
But it's a part of it played a part in your life that it still plays a part in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, I thought that was it. Like that was gonna be it. Like I thought she was the one.
Right.
If I'm gonna say that.
Right.
But whatever. Like at times, like it was whatever. I'm done. I'm off that topic.
Okay, so moving on from that.
I'm never really off the topic because it kind of all.
I mean, it's a part of your life.
It all stems into whatever, but.
Right.
So in college.
So that was, you said you met end of senior year, going into college.
Yes.
Okay, so you said, and then in college.
We haven't been together. It's been over a year now, so it was like the beginning of 2019.
Right. So we don't have to stay on the topic, but then you said going into college, something like that. You were moving on. It sounded like.
What?
Right then, it sounded like you were moving on.
We were still dating going into college.
No, I know. I thought we were moving on from the topic. We don't have to.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'm confused what you were saying. Okay,
no,
yeah.
I was trying to help the transition.
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, so going into college, like, me and her were still together, not a part of what I'm talking about, but...
Right. What got you into marketing?
I went into college, business undecided, because, and this is something I kind of glossed over, but my senior year of high school, like, trying to figure out what to do and where to go to college, because all of my wants and desires was to play baseball in college, and I realized that wasn't a possibility, and like I realized that like I didn't want to do that anymore, I guess, even though like in the back of my mind that was my lifelong goal and that's what I wanted to do, but I knew I couldn't. Like I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I had no motivation to pick any school because
that part of your life had quote unquote died, as you said.
And looking back, I knew like I was depressed from then on. Probably from the point that I realized that this isn't gonna work out for baseball. Before senior year of high school to now.
Right.
I've been depressed, whether
dealing with depression.
Yeah, and
battling.
Like obviously it ebbs and flows, and it shows more times than others.
Exactly.
But yeah. So like I said, kind of a similar situation with you. But yeah, so like being at college, like college is college. I mean, I had my normal fun, and school was easy. School's always easy, honestly. College has been really easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, and I still had no idea what I wanted to do freshman year. I honestly still don't know what I wanted to do now, but I knew I had to pick. I went business undecided because I could not have given less of a shit going to college.
Right. Now that you're baseball
Yeah, like
yeah.
I just didn't have any interest.
Right. But you still did it because
I had to.
that's what
the
people did.
norm.
Yep.
Like everyone did that.
Right.
I don't think one person from St. X didn't go to college.
That's a lot of why I. No, that's not true. I went to college because everybody else did, but mine started because like, oh, I'll go for criminal justice. That's just like they were like, you're going to college, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they were like, pick something. And I was like, oh, okay. Criminal justice sounds cool. I'm interested in law.
No, like literally.
And so yeah,
it was like, I don't really like anything, so maybe I'll just go to business. But I'm still undecided. I picked marketing like my junior year, just because I knew I had to pick, and it was the easiest one, to be quite honest. And I knew I didn't really like anything else, so yeah, I went to college. It was kind of normal college. The second semester of like my freshman year, that was when the off and on thing started with the girl.
With girl.
Sure. That was when that started. And I mean, in terms of the other stuff that I will say, that just made everything like 10 times worse. Just kind of dealing with that, even though like it was me doing it, it still didn't mean it like didn't fuck me up mentally like all the time.
Right.
But like, so I was just going through college. It was kind of normal. It was just normal college stuff, experience. Like it's not any different than anyone else's. Having fun, whatever. Then I believe it was the fall of my third year. So it was the fall of 2017. I kind of like feel like everything just kind of culminated, all of like the bad shit.
And negativity.
Yeah, and it was like, cause I remember like vividly there was like I remember like telling my parents like, it was the first time I told my parents that there was like anything wrong. And I just said like, I don't remember exactly how I said it, obviously, but like it was, like I'm like struggling like a lot. And like
that was the first time you said anything?
Yeah, that was the first time I said anything, I think, to anyone. And like, and at that time, like I wasn't like, like suicidal yet, but like, it was like kind of getting to that point. And then from then on, I've like seen a therapist like off and on. I went like every week for a while.
When it was at its worst.
Yeah, I mean I still see her occasionally now, but yeah, so like that was kind of the start of me getting better. That was like the kind of the climax of my shittiness.
Right.
So the opposite of what a climax should be is like the highest point.
Wait, so if the apex is the biggest point, what's the zenith? What's zenith mean?
There's a Z.
I mean, it's a word about curves, I believe. Sure. Or like,
if the mountain goes up, imagine there's a mountain going down into the soil.
The deepest valley.
Yeah.
So that was the deepest valley that you
was
reached.
In the center of the earth, basically. Right.
As deep as you could go.
Yeah. That was probably it.
Clarify. That what is that? Was probably it. What do you mean? What moment?
Like
telling your parents?
Moment, yeah, telling my parents that like
that you're struggling.
That I'm struggling. Like,
right. Go on.
And I didn't like. I dropped out of school for the time being. I like took a few semesters off because I remember very vividly the first day I tried to go to classes. The winter of 2018.
I remember that as well.
Yeah,
we lived together.
That was like the first year we lived together, and it was. I went to class and I went for the first day. Walking back home, I
To our house.
As much as I called you a bitch for crying, sarcastically,
Uh-huh.
like on my way home, like I like had a panic attack,
Mm-hmm.
and like I couldn't do it. I
Right.
don't know how to explain it.
No,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to like
That
make this longer. But
right. You were like suffocating
yeah,
in your
I,
life. Yeah.
I just felt so out of place. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can't be here.
That was when I decided to leave school. I
Yeah.
had that moment as well.
Like
Yep.
it was I can't describe it really. Like I
Right.
just
You
can't.
were suffocating.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so like I said, took a few semesters off, like, and which was good for me. I knew I had to go back because if I didn't go back, I would have never like if I didn't. So I went back that fall
Mm-hmm.
because like I had to
Right.
to like technically be dropped out. You have to skip 3 semesters.
Yeah.
I skipped 2,
Right.
so like I didn't have to reapply.
Right.
And I knew if I didn't go back that 3rd semester, I would have never gone back.
Right.
Which probably wouldn't have been the worst thing, but it was probably.
I mean, you
Better for me at the time
that
to
was
do
you
it.
were already what? How many years in? 2.5.
I was like halfway done, a little more than halfway done.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I mean, like, and I'm almost done now. So like, obviously, it's a good thing that I'm finishing. But
Yeah.
whatever.
You will have something to show for your
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
for
whatever.
your time spent,
And
which I don't
I mean, it doesn't matter.
theoretically.
It doesn't.
Right.
matter.
I mean, you go for a piece of paper anyway.
Exactly.
Like,
That's all it is.
goddamn.
Piece
That's
of
a
paper
good
to show-
background.
Piece of paper to show a business that you wasted 4 years of your life.
And a lot of money.
Yes. And again, that's just my experience.
Right. College works for some people. Dude, we've talked about this last week,
Yeah,
I think.
last week.
College works for some. Like, if you're a doctor or a lawyer, like, you need higher education. Or quote unquote higher, what do you think is higher education?
Yeah.
You can, most things though, you can educate yourself
Yeah.
higherly than being talked at by
Exactly.
a teacher.
Exactly.
Right.
So like just going off that, like I went to school, like I picked marketing, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That was again kind of normal. I knew I still had that feeling of like I shouldn't be here, I don't belong, but like it was less, and I think I was more in a better place mentally to go to school.
Right.
And kind of be there and just get through it.
Once you reached out, once you like had started, because this was after you'd started to go to therapy, right?
Yeah. Oh,
you
yeah,
started
this
seeing
was-
a therapist.
That was about almost a half a year of me seeing a therapist,
Mhm.
probably.
Now, did you, just for audience sake, did you ever, in addition to your therapy, did you ever take medication?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
right when I told my parents, like I went to the doctor, and he was the one who told me like probably see a therapist or whatever.
like
he
quote
gave
unquote
me-
diagnosed you with
Yeah.
yeah.
However that works, I don't
Right.
know the details, but
Right.
yeah. So like I've been
Which I honest to speak on my story a little bit, never went through any of that. My darkest days literally were spent a lot of times in a dark room, just for, like, because before I got good, I'm still not even good at vocalizing and communicating things on bad days or whatever. Literally, and I've gotten better since the upturn.
yeah.
Wouldn't talk to anybody, and if you knew me through that period of time, you know that like
You're still not great at it now. But
well, yeah, I'm getting better. I'm
Yeah.
still working on it, but
Yeah.
that's part of the journey though, is working to get better on
Yeah.
it.
And like even through that time, like I tried to get better, and I feel like I feel like there were times where I was good at it, which again, that's the ebbs and flows of kind of what it's like.
Mhm.
I might have been good at it sometimes, but then other times I just
Right.
shut everything off, and like I had those days where I didn't want to get up,
Right.
and like through those times, like I mean, just not that this makes it like any different than anyone else's experience. This is just my own experience. Like like there were times through those years going on, like I did get a lot deeper than what I previously thought was my low. Like
Mhm.
there were times where
It just kept getting worse.
it definitely was just getting worse, and like I mean there were points where like I was suicidal or whatever, like
Mhm.
and like I'm glad I got through that,
Right.
and
I am too, for the record.
appreciate that.
Yep.
But like I didn't really tell anyone that,
Mhm.
and and I mean, to be honest, and that's probably what makes it the hardest. Getting through all that was like the only person that I ever told any of that to. A lot of this stuff, the only person I told a lot of this stuff to was the girl I was with, on and off. So like, she was the one who I could go to with all that stuff. But it's just life. Like, once you lose that person, it's like,
well, now what?
Now what? And I have to learn how to like do that again with other people. But that's really not. That's just whatever. I don't know. I don't like that I keep mentioning that.
It doesn't matter. It's okay.
Like, it is what it is.
Right. It applies.
It does.
It's not like you're just bringing it up out of nowhere.
It applies to literally everything. So, yeah, I don't even know where I'm at anymore.
So I mean,
this is why I like should have wrote stuff down.
I know you told me that you wanted to write stuff down.
But like, I mean, so basically, like, since then, like, it has been slowly getting better.
Good.
And like I'm still like going through it. And, like, it's not going. It doesn't seem like it's going to go anytime soon. Mm-hmm. But like, that's why I'm doing this.
Right.
Because
exactly.
This is going to help.
Right.
And like me
Speaking
doing
about
this right now,
talking
the
about
last I don't know how long I've been going. I don't know how long I've been going.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, but that's why I'm gonna end it.
You don't have to. I mean,
but I don't
have
like,
to.
There's not exactly much else to go, but
at this point.
Yeah. So like, it's all like I'm still going through it, and like, and it's gonna be going on for a while, and that's how it is. Like, But the point of me even being here and doing this is because I'm mad that like it's been going on this long, which like it doesn't help me being mad at myself. Obviously, that's not the way it's supposed to be. But I'm trying to take control of my shit, and like I have not done that. I've just kind of been going along with the process. But this is just another step of me
fighting back,
and like being able to express my emotions and just getting shit out, so I don't have to keep everything in all the time because I'm just talking to a microphone and one other person, who was like a friend, So like, it's not as daunting as like talking to a bunch of people, Even though this goes out to everyone,
and to kind of transition a little bit. This is like, we don't want the podcast to be a place where we just come and dump all of our shit and talk about like our drama or what our shit's going on. Like,
we're not those kind of people anyway.
But we may bitch and moan every once in a while.
That's also normal.
It is
for a podcast.
However, with this, like we've said, the reason for this episode, the reason for this podcast is to use the mediums that we have, the things that have been constant in our life. For me, soccer and video games. For you, baseball, video games, whatever else.
Talk about video games, but
doesn't matter.
I mean, that was really like the reason that I'm like kind of wanted to work with you with this, because you're obviously with the video games and stuff. It's easy for me to talk about video games because, especially in the past year, since I've kind of like still been going through this, and like, even like before then when I was going through it and it was very low. Like you said, those constants, I thought baseball was going to be a constant for me. It wasn't. Like, games and just like having something to get my mind off of shit. It's been games a lot of the time, because when I'm alone, like, even in the times where like, like I kind of have been very deep, like, suicidal, like,
just low,
very low, like, don't want to do anything. It's like, that's the one thing that's been able to take my mind off of it and just kind of like ease my mind. It doesn't fix it, obviously.
Well, yeah,
because it never really gets fixed until time. But that's why.
Because they are enjoyable. They are fun.
That's why I feel like strongly about it. And like, I mean, that's just why I'm doing this. To bring it all full circle. Not that I've gave that much information about recently. It's been shitty recently, but less shitty than normal.
Which is good.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't say less shitty than normal, but like it continually gets better over like months.
I know.
And like where I am now to where I was when I was at my lowest, like I'm amazed, but like
You still
there
got
are
work to do,
still
bro.
times obviously that's are shitty and like
Still got work to do.
again it's not
And that's people
that's life.
that battle, yes, and
That's
people
life.
that battle with depression don't. It's not like you ever just get better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that like even like I still have bad days, right? I wouldn't say that I'm overall like I'm definitely not where I used to be. I'm not to compare my story to yours, but like a little bit farther along maybe.
I mean, yeah.
It is if you could be. If it was a line of progression, you could maybe say that.
If there was like a chart, a little bell curve.
Right, exactly.
Of the process.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But it's not. It's not how it is.
No, exactly.
It's different for everyone.
Because I still deal with it and still battle with it and still fight with a lot of those things from that period of time. And I imagine that you and I imagine that people that do deal with this will as well. It's not something that you just get over, and no amount of money or
I would have liked a lot of money.
Anything.
A lot of money could have helped.
It's no. But that's not. I wouldn't fix it. Because
fix it would help.
People say, "Oh, I'd rather cry in my Ferrari than in a Prius."
That's true.
But then you're still crying in a Ferrari. Like the problem is not. You realize when you get to that point, you realize more so than ever that is not going to fix it.
I would like to get to that point where I realize that that's not enough to fix it.
I'll hear that. I'll hear that.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie about stuff.
Right.
And like the obviously cookie cutter stereotypical answer is, oh, well, money can't change everything. It does change stuff. In this,
not for it. Maybe it's everybody's different.
Yes.
For me, that's not the case.
It would change things, but
it would expose them. It would change their mind.
Yeah, but I mean, the way that money works is that no matter what, you're going to learn a lesson, whether it's now or if it's when you have all the money, you're going to learn. It just depends on the timeline.
Yeah. You're going to learn that money is not the source of happiness.
I would like to get to a point where I could learn that.
Okay. So you're telling me that you just want money.
I mean,
which I know because I know.
I'd rather be happy.
Oh yeah.
But that's not. I feel like getting money now is more realistic than being happy. So
we'll see
with the way things are going, and that's like a sad thing. And like I've said that to myself anyway.
Yeah.
So like it's not like sad for me right now, but it might be sad to hear.
Well, it doesn't matter.
That's truth. I don't really care.
And when you get to the point where you realize another truth after you have the money, you'll say and document that. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe you weren't wrong though. Maybe you were right.
Yeah.
And then you can say that and speak your truth then.
And obviously, this podcast we probably should be wrapping it up soon. Definitely.
Hour and 32 in,
It's not that bad.
It's better than I thought it was going to be.
That's mostly 120, so
yeah.
This isn't that bad. We are not just saying this just to say it and get it off our chest. I mean,
no, but
it's for the small amount of people listening that
if you can connect and resonate with that,
and
great.
Yeah, that's not
you now have two people who can relate to you, and if need be, talk to you or game with you or anything like that's it's not that this has to be that. I would love for it to be that. I would love for this to be a refuge place where people can come to get away and enjoy.
We don't mean for this to be like a gospel for someone.
No,
because
we don't have the answers. How can it be? Right.
We don't know shit about shit. We are just we're
documenting the journey.
23 years old.
Right. We're documenting the journey.
We don't know shit about life.
Of our lives.
And everyone's gone through their share of like bad times, I'm sure.
Right.
I feel like some of the life experiences that I've had or you have had, I don't want to say like give us I mean, it does. It gives you
a different perspective
on life that I'm sure other people have had. But,
or if they haven't, they can hear it.
Yeah, it's like I know people like it's like if I heard this if I heard like self-help podcasts when I was going through that shit, I wouldn't have thought anything of it.
Right.
Because like
Because you didn't you
I would have still been in the shitter.
Okay, so I'm gonna take what I learned, one thing that I learned from college, and apply it. I can't. This is we should. I'm glad we're documenting this moment. I was in a communications class for marketing, and I think I learned maybe. Wow, I think I maybe learned that there are like the different parts of communication. Like there's the message from the sender, but like there's also the person that's hearing it. But the person that's hearing it, in order to truly hear, like you can hear it. There's like the true what the messenger means, the true what the listener hears.
And there's a word for each of those things. I just don't know what they are.
No, I don't either.
And
It shows you what I
what
learned.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's like 3 different levels to
Right.
a conversation.
Right.
And it's what the person talking means,
Mhm.
what the person hearing means,
Or hears.
whatever.
Yeah.
And something like probably what a third would
Who knows? Yeah. Who knows?
I don't know shit about shit. Okay?
Anyway, to truly hear what somebody is saying, you have to be like ready to hear it, especially for big life things like that. Like to have that realization, to hear that you're depressed, or that you're an alcoholic, or that you're a drug addict, or that you're unhealthy
we are not
in any way,
alcoholics or drug addicts.
no, these are just examples that I'm
FYI.
firing off, right? Or that you you know, anything. To truly hear anything, you have to be ready to receive that message, like in your brain, you like in your mind, you have to be ready to hear it, and like if maybe somebody is in the shitter. And they're in the low, and they hear this, and they're ready to hear it, and they're like, okay, got two people that I can vibe with and connect with that have been through it, and maybe they reach out. I would love for them to reach out to either one of us,
Yeah.
and that's fine. Even if they don't reach out, that's fine. Like it's documentation on our journey, how we continue to fight the ups and the downs of that journey, and how
It's real life. Like
yeah, it's real.
This is all just real life.
But you don't know what that's like.
I don't even know what song that's from.
NF, real life. I'm pretty sure it's just called Life.
No.
It's a good song.
Well,
I like him. But yeah,
so
so
you took me off my rhythm, so now I don't know what else talking about.
it's fine. We need to
fucking
transition out. I looked up the word zenith. It's just a synonym for apex, basically.
Oh, so they mean the same thing.
I think so. Yeah.
Why would they put a word that starts with A and a word that starts with Z as the synonyms?
You know what? It's just the English language.
Fuck the English language.
True.
I know Spanish.
Are we? No, we're not. No, we're not. No.
We should do a whole podcast in Spanish.
Okay. All right. That's it.
For our Spanish listeners. Next week, all Spanish.
Nope. Well, I'm not doing that. Either way, like we have said multiple times, it's documentation on the journey, and there are parts of it that we both, I will speak for both of us on this. There are parts of it that we're not proud of. There are parts of it that we maybe would do differently. There are parts of it that we are proud of, and there are parts of it that, you know, we are happy about, and that's life, and you can't really ask for much more than that, honestly. And we'll continue to document that, and to talk about what's going on in video games, soccer, whatever is happening in life.
Yes.
And that's a podcast.
Yeah. I thank you guys for listening. I probably said it at the beginning, but
we appreciate it.
I don't think I did say that at the beginning. Thank you guys for listening. I know this was kind of a different episode and more of a serious one.
Mm-hmm. It's okay.
I tried to put in some lighthearted things in the, wherever I could. These are heavier topics,
and that's fine.
And again, we don't have the answers, but if this helps anyone connects with it, that's wonderful. If not, this is therapy for me.
Yep.
I told a lot of this. I've not said this stuff in a story setting ever. So, congrats, world. You have something.
Congrats, Andrew. You did it.
Sure.
We made it through.
I'm still a little nervous though.
I am too.
I don't like that people are gonna hear this, and people I don't even know, because I don't know how we have this many audience.
It's fine.
This audience.
We appreciate the people that do listen though.
Yes. Yeah.
And honestly, even to take it a step further, if you can connect with it or not, if you know somebody that may be going through a tough time, share it with them. Share the podcast with them. Tell them to reach out, because for the future. We may have the opportunity to bring guests on. Not that we would bring a random person. We would obviously want to get to know somebody first. But and I said this in my Speak It project. I said this now. I will continue to say it. I'm using KyleMac, the brand KyleMac video game personality, as a way to reach out to people, as a way to connect with people, because it doesn't matter what you do, there is a game for you, and you can have fun gaming. And if you're not having fun, I still, like I said, I want to connect with people in different ways. So
that's why this podcast exists.
Exactly. It's just another medium to reach out.
Exactly. And me as well, because as much as I give off my douchebag asshole persona,
you're a person.
When it comes down to it, and I like really am, riding with someone, I care.
You're a ride or die.
Like when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, when all is said and done, I care. So, you guys, same goes for listeners, whatever.
Yeah, and again, we appreciate you, and
we hope. If you've gotten this far, tweet me the word apple juice, the 2 words apple juice, please.
That's a documentation poll.
Yes.
We want to see who listens to the whole episode.
Sure. I just want one tweet that says apple juice.
Just random. You have to retweet everybody that tweets.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Everyone, there's going to be maybe 2.
I'm going to tweet you apple juice after we stop recording.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm not retweeting yours. I'm only retweeting real listeners. That's a little rude.
I'm a listener. Okay.
You're a maker. You're
guys,
a producer.
We appreciate listening to this. We don't, again, this is just 2 guys talking into a microphone. Whatever we talk about into 2 microphones. Whatever we talk about is whatever we talk about. We don't know. It depends week to week, day to day, year to year, month to month. I know I did that backwards, but I don't care.
Yeah. If you guys liked this, please let me know.
Give us direction on what you want to hear.
We say it every podcast.
No, but we want to hear what you want to hear.
And I know that we don't have a big following, at all, really. But if you guys actually listen, I would appreciate. I want to know what you guys want to hear. If you didn't like this kind of episode, we'll probably still touch on this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But it's just good for us to know.
Yeah.
Because this is
data is data.
This is for you guys,
Brandon,
and it's for us too.
Data is the most valuable thing in the entire world.
No, it's not.
Psych. That was a joke.
Bitch.
Okay. We'll see you next week. We love you. Lettuce and Mac.
Love you. Fuck you. Up in your guts. Love
what?
You.